Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Irene Philip and I'm so happy to have you all here. This video is quite different. As you can see, I'm not in my usual setting. I'm not in my house, but I'm currently in my mother-in-law's house, and so I'm so excited to be saying that this video is going to be featuring my very lovely and wonderful mother-in-law. So Ma, you want to step into the frame and introduce yourself?
Hello everybody, I'm Irene's mother-in-law and she has invited me to be a part of her channel where we make preserves, mainly plum preserve and marmalade. So we're going to do this together and I so look forward to having time with my daughter-in-law in the kitchen.
Thank you. So I'm kind of a person who loves to have like preserves all around the year. It's not like specified to a single season, but it's like all around the year. I can have it with ice creams, I can have it with muffins or any sort of items. And so I'm so happy to be doing this jam series with you, Ma, or what do you call it as preserves, like the English style. So we're going to be making a plum preserve as well as an orange marmalade.
Yes,
is that correct?
Orange marmalade.
Okay. So
we look forward to
making this
together, jamming together.
Yes. So before we move on to this video, I'd highly encourage you to consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. Subscription is absolutely free. All that YouTube does through subscription is actually notify you whenever I post a new video so that you don't miss out on any of my content. So without wasting much time, let's begin. So we're going to start with the plum preserve recipe, and for this you will need about 1 kg of plums. So for this recipe we are using foreign plums, but the best ones to be actually used are the Indian plums for a sweet and sour preserve. So we'll start by soaking the plums in water with baking soda for about 10 minutes and then rinse it well. Next we're going to de-seed the plums and quarter each plum. Place a thick bottom vessel on the stove. Add in the diced plums and on low heat cover it and cook till the plums are slightly soft. Meanwhile, measure out 1 kg of granulated sugar and keep it on the side. So the ratio is for 1 kg of plum, we're going to use 1 kg of granulated sugar. So once the plums are soft, you're going to add in the sugar, mix well and cover it again and cook it on low heat, stirring it in between. We also added in about 250 ml of water to assist the plums to get softer fast. Like I said before, we are using foreign plums and that is why we are adding water to this. Indian plums actually tend to get softer quicker, so there's no need to add water if you're using the Indian ones. So once all that sugar is dissolved, you keep stirring the mixture in between, and now at this point you're going to slightly increase the flame. So allow the mixture to come to a rolling boil, and at this point you're going to add in the juice of 2.5 lemons. So if you're using Indian plums, you can choose to reduce the quantity of lemon juice. So the sugar and lemon juice act as a natural preservative. So this preserve is so much more safer and natural than the store-bought preserves that contain a lot of chemical agents and additives. Now once the lemon juice is added, keep boiling the mixture on medium flame, stirring it in between until the sauce reduces to a thick syrup-like consistency and the plums are well cooked and soft. At this point, you're going to switch off the flame and keep it aside to cool down before storing away in jars. Make sure that the jars are actually clean and sterilized and devoid of any kind of moisture. And you guys, I didn't realize how easy it was to make preserves at home until I actually made this with my mother-in-law, so you must definitely try out this recipe. And this jam can be stored in the fridge for months, so you can enjoy it almost all around the year. Moving on to the orange marmalade. Now, marmalade is a slightly more complex and longer process, so I'll try my best at explaining each and every step in a simple way. So as usual, we're going to start by soaking 1 kg of oranges in water with baking soda for about 10 minutes before rinsing well. Now for this video, we used normal peeling oranges, but my mother-in-law actually recommends using Kino oranges if you want to make marmalade. So first we're going to measure out about 4 liters of water into a thick bottomed vessel and place the oranges into it carefully and put it on the stove on high heat and cover the vessel. Next, you're going to set a timer for 1.5 hours and let the oranges slow cook in the vessel until the timer goes out. This is why it's a slightly longer process, because it takes a lot of time for the oranges to cook. Now you can always check on the oranges in between to see the level of water. And once the timer goes off and the water has considerably reduced and the oranges are tender, you're going to strain the oranges and keep the liquid aside. So basically, you're going to reserve that liquid for later. Wait for the oranges to completely cool down. So once the oranges have cooled down, cut each of them into 4s, de-seed them and take out the pith and place the seeds and pith into a small bowl. Now pith is that slightly spongy white membrane that separates each segment of an orange. Next, we're going to separate the flesh of the orange from the peel, and what you'll be left with is what you can see on the screen. So as you can see, the orange flesh is on one side, the peel on the other, and all of that seeds and pith are in that bowl. Next, you're going to add in the flesh of the orange into the water that was reserved from boiling the oranges. Next, place a saucepan on the stove on low to medium heat and pour in about 200 ml of water. And to this, you're going to add in all of that pith and seeds and let it boil for about 15 minutes. Now this is an important step, as the seeds and pith releases what is known as pectin, and this is the chemical compound that helps in thickening the marmalade. Meanwhile, go ahead and thinly slice the orange peel as you can see on the screen. So once the 15-minute timer goes off, set aside the liquid containing the seeds and pith until it cools off completely. And then you're going to pour that into a muslin cloth and strain the juice completely out of it. Now you're going to add in this juice into the water that contains the flesh of the orange and set this aside. Next, place a thick bottomed vessel onto the stove and on low heat apply a bit of butter to the bottom and sides of that vessel to avoid any kind of sticking or burning. Next, we're going to measure out the orange pulp mixture that we had set aside and pour it into this vessel. So the math is, for every 600 ml of orange pulp mixture, we'll be using 450 grams of granulated sugar. So we had about 1800 ml of orange pulp mixture, for which we ended up using 1350 grams of sugar. Add in the sliced orange peel to this pulp mixture. So once the sugar is all weighed completely, you're going to add it into this mixture and stir it well occasionally on low heat till the sugar dissolves completely. So once the sugar has completely dissolved, you're going to increase the flame and let the mixture come to a rolling boil for about 40 minutes. At this point, you can choose to add any hard spices like clove or cinnamon or nutmeg. So we used about 2 cloves in this recipe. Stir it occasionally until the 40-minute timer goes off. Switch it off and allow the marmalade to cool down completely. It will actually thicken over time, so don't overcook it post 40 minutes. And store it in clean airtight jars like the one used for plum preserve. So that's it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, do give it a thumbs up for my mother-in-law. Like I said before, subscribe if you are new here, and feel free to comment down below and share this video with your friends and family. And I'll see you all in my next one. Bye guys.